I was wrong about Etsy, and kind of maybe you were as well. Now, let me explain, but first, I just want to quickly cover. I know people might have clicked on this and thought, Pam's breaking up with Etsy. What's going on here? I'm not breaking up with Etsy. Myself and Etsy have agreed to see other platforms, but more about that in a different video. But this is just something I spoke about quite a while ago, and I was kind of wrong, but at the same time, you were kind of wrong about it too. So this is something that people have been talking about forever, that Etsy is killing views on their shop. Etsy is deliberately slowing down their shop. And I pointed out that yes, this can happen if you make too many sales all at once. Etsy can take your shop entirely out of search while you catch up, which is a horrible thing. It can also put reserve on your payments. But each of these, it tells you when it's done it. We had spoke about for many years, like way back in the distant times of Etsy, we spoke about an Etsy flip, which is where other shops would get shown in the start of search. Whereas it used to be always, it would be like a big shop would be shown loads, and then suddenly a different shop would get a shot. And yeah, we've spoke about this forever. But I did say it was unlikely there would be a specific algorithm on Etsy programmed to say, oh, when Pam's shop gets 10 sales, that's too many. Let's throttle her for a little bit and put someone else up. So yeah, the idea, some people are saying there's a kind of thing where I make so many sales and I get throttled and someone else gets pushed up and things. So yes and no, I was kind of wrong about this. Firstly, there is a couple of very valid reasons why you can see. Now, people think they see a spike in sales and a dip in sales, and what they're thinking is the spike in sales is right, it's their deserved, it's what should be their normal, and the dip is Etsy taking stuff away. Most of the time, it's completely different. The dip level is your sort of baseline. You are ranking in search where you're expected to rank in search. Now, say if you're ranking on page 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that, that doesn't mean that you're always there. Because of personalization, Etsy shows you in different places sometimes. So occasionally you'll get shown higher in search, or occasionally a buyer will click through to the page that you're on. So they see you. And if, now this is where it's a bit of luck, there's less people seeing you. You're not right there on the front page all the time. So there's less people seeing you. So if with a bit of luck, the right person who loves your item is looking at the time that your item is being shown, and they click on it and they purchase it, and your item relists, that gives your item a boost. It's had a sale and a relist. So suddenly in Etsy's algorithm, it's going, whoa, we love this. So you get your spike. And when you've had your spike, when you're ranking a little bit higher, what's going to happen is you're going to be seen more and you might get a couple more sales. But then over time, sadly, the other listings that were ranking higher than you in the past are potentially just better. It's a tough fact, but we're not always the best. We'd like to think we are. So the Etsy algorithm says, I've shown this listing to 1,000 different people, and it's got clicked on less than when I showed this other person's listing to 1,000 different people. So yeah, I'm going to drop you down. You're not going to rank as high as this one. So then you go back to your new normal. So that does, absolutely happens. But I was wrong in saying that Etsy doesn't 100% doesn't throttle views. So I want to cover this. I don't think it's as big a deal as we think it is, but let's go and have a look. So this is interesting. This is in Etsy's legal terms and policies. This is under legal. This isn't in the Ultimate Guide to Search or anything, but they're explaining how does search work. And it's got we've all probably I've scrolled through this and kind of been like, oh yeah, that's saying the same thing, and not really read it properly. So relevancy, yes, we know. How similar is what's in your tags and titles to what people are searching for, listing quality score, how how well people like your item, how well it's doing. And this is literally what we just said. We factor in data such as clicks, views, favorites, and purchases. So if you suddenly get a wee boost in clicks, views, favorites, and purchases, you could get a boost up. Recency, how new it is, that's another boost. So again, if you've sold and suddenly relisted, your item is new, it's relisted, it gets a small temporary boost in search. So these two things are what boost you up. But anyway, we know this. Customer and market experience score, how many good reviews you're getting, how well you're doing, your policies are filled in, loads of things. We've talked about this loads. Postage price, people freak out about this. This is, as far as I know, if you're offering free delivery to US shoppers and they are on the app, that's about the only time the postage price is factoring, as far as we know. But it's there, so yeah, it is something. Translations. And we'll skip one, but we'll go to context-specific ranking. This is the personalizations, sort of. Search results are customized to individual buyers based on, among factors, related keywords, what you've been looking at before and what you're likely to purchase. It's sort of machine learning, but probably not very good machine learning yet. But anyway, frequency capping, to limit the number of times the same listing or shop appears at the top results for a specific user or keyword. This is what people are kind of losing their shit over. I'm allowed to say that? It's late enough in the video, I can say that. So this makes perfect sense. First of all, to limit the number of times the same listing or shop appears at the top results for a specific user. Makes absolute sense. If you've come in every day and searched for the same keyword because you're really researching how to buy, what to buy here. If you keep on looking and you keep on not clicking at what you're seeing, it absolutely makes sense that Etsy's just going to say, oh, well, that particular user wasn't interested in that. So frequency capping to limit the number of times. We've shown you that a whole bunch of times. You're not interested. Let's show you something different. That sounds like a very sensible use of the algorithm. Or to limit the number of times the same listing or shop appears at the top of results for a keyword. So that's how they're doing it. It totally makes sense. It's not saying you've sold too many times, therefore we don't think you should have any more sales, but it's limiting the amount of times that the exact same listing appears for the same keyword. And that's how they're doing the Etsy Flip. The Etsy Flip is a made-up name that we made up years ago because we didn't know what was going on. But this absolutely makes sense. If the same listing, if once Etsy ranks everything, and it's basing how it ranks on how often people are getting views, clicks, and sales, if they always showed the exact same listings on the front page of Etsy, then those exact same listings would be getting the majority of the views and clicks, because Etsy tells us, even before they improved their algorithms with the personalizations, which does try and show the right thing, but even just with ranking, it was at least 80% of people were buying from the front page. It's in the high 90s now. So whatever's on the front page is the most likely by far to sell. So if they always showed the same front page and only adjusted rankings really by, okay, the newness, but the number of sales, the number of clicks and everything, the items on the front page would be on the front page forever, and all of your new listings would really have no chance, because those vast amounts of sales have a higher ranking factor than I made a new listing. So basically you would see the same shops, the ones that got in there for that first, would dominate that keyword forever. So Etsy has to have some way to test to be able to say, okay, I really like that listing. That's a good listing. That's making me a lot of money. But if I showed somebody else's listing, does that make more money? So frequency capping is apparently the fancy name for an Etsy flip. It is just basically, right, you've been top of that keyword for so many views. This appears at the top results for a keyword. So that is saying some people are saying, oh, this happens every day, this happens every 2 days, a set time period. But this is likely to be dependent on how searched for a keyword is. So I've seen this, like with really high searched for terms, it's something like Christmas when there's a high number of people searching, lots and lots of listings get a bit of love because this frequency cap in the one listing will have been seen a whole lot of times. So it reaches whatever that limit is of the number of times to be seen, and then Etsy drops that down in the search a wee bit. The item is still on. This is a thing put on top of the other ranking factors. So you've still got all your nice ranking factors. So when somebody else gets capped, when they've run their test on them, then your item will get put back up again. So yeah, it's a thing, but it's not a thing of Etsy going, oh, Susan's made too many sales today. Let's stop her making sales. It's more a thing of Etsy going, okay, we want to try and show our buyers something a little bit new to see what they think of. So let's try some other people. So yeah, it's not Etsy throttling your sales, but I was wrong. There is part of the algorithm written to make sure that the keywords are shuffled about sometimes. And that's good news because most of us can't just by our own SEO alone cannot get to the front page of some really good search terms. But if we know, well, we can't get ahead of these people that are making hundreds of sales because they're on the front page of these really good search terms. But we know every now and again, Etsy gives other listings a bit of a chance. So we've got a bit of a chance. And if our listings are awesome and customers really like them, then Etsy will give us more and more of a chance. Anyway, I hope that helped. I do like to clear up. I mess up too as well. So thank you to everyone who pointed out this frequency capping thing. I had totally missed it. Yeah, thank you so much.